Welcome back. Well, we have officially hit the halfway point of the AJHL regular season. We've kept you up to date on all the highlights, interviews, and breaking trade news, but it was time to ask you about your thoughts on the Lloydminster Bobcats season thus far. Who's your favorite Bobcat?
Austin.
Why?
Because he's really, really funny. He beat my brother up on the ice once.
Who's my favorite Bobcat? I like Lyndon Springer, the captain, because he's rugged and he scores goals and gets the job done.
Van Teetering this year. Just like the way he plays, hard-working kid.
Kevin Gerard.
And why?
He's just a good kid, all-around good kid. He's American.
Lyndon Springer.
Why?
Well, one reason because he's the captain, but also because he can score and he's top scorer of the team.
We also asked fans a controversial question. If they could be coached by either Gord Thibodeau or Gary Van Haraway for a day, which fate would they choose?
I would choose Gary. He's just a really nice, easygoing guy. I'm afraid if I messed up with Gord, I'd probably get a lashing or something.
Well, I kind of go back with Gord, so I'm going to say Gord. When he was here before, he was great.
No, it's either one, I guess. But yeah, Gord.
Gary. Gord.
Why?
I don't know.
And some of the most memorable moments from the first half?
Where the controversial goal was scored with under a minute left, so that game was interesting too. I wish they had actually beat him. It would have been real icing on the cake for that one.
For sure.
When Springer, the one guy came out of the box and he just started the fight. Boom.
We also got your thoughts on how the Bobcats will fare in the second half.
Pretty good. I think they'll hang on to second. I think they'll finish second, yeah.
Not first, though?
It'll be pretty tough, but I think they'll do second, yeah.
So I don't think there's enough points to catch up to Spruce Grove, but playoffs start all over again.
Do you think they have a chance maybe to win it all?
Yeah. Small chance, but there's always a chance.
Spoken in the words of Lloyd Christmas, there's always a chance. Moving to the volleyball courts, for the Lakeland Wrestlers men's team, there is a chance to make playoffs this year, and a very good one. Earlier this month, I sat down with head coach Taylor Dyer to discuss how his squad's season has panned out thus far. Taylor Dyer, thank you for joining me today. We haven't talked a lot about last year when I've interviewed you this year so far, and you didn't make playoffs. When you think back, which is it's been a year since then, what kind of comes to mind when you think of last season and how you ended it?
You know what, it was a season of missed opportunities for us, I think. We had some pretty important games, even in the first semester, that looking back on it, I don't think we realized how important those could have been going forward. So we finished in a tie for the last playoff spot. We lost that tiebreak because of some of those first semester matches, and so that was the end for us, and so it was an unfortunate way to finish.
Now when I look at your team this year and when I've talked to you in the past, you have always come back to the fact that you're returning 9 veterans, and for this league, that's unheard of. How has that had an impact so far on your season this year?
That's been huge for us, just having those guys understand what it takes at this level, and now me being in my third year, some of these guys buying into what we're trying to do here, that was super important for us, and it's been big for this first semester.
So when we look at your record thus far, you're 6-6. Do you think that's an accurate reflection of how you've been performing this year?
You know what, I think it's pretty close. I think we won the matches that we needed to win and won the teams that we were better than. And then kind of the 3rd, 4th, 5th spot, that's going to be a battle all season long, and we were able to come away with splits against those teams. I think it's a pretty accurate representation, and now we just need to go ahead and duplicate that in the second semester.
Okay, now one of the key players on your team, when I look at statistics, is Savannah Walking Bear. Out of a total 568 attacks, he's had 198. That's over 1/3 of your attacks. What is he brought to the team this year?
I mean, he's a dominant player at this level, and he continues to do that night in, night out, and he's brought a little bit more leadership this year, and then he leads by example, obviously, on the floor, and he can take over a match at any time.
Any major surprises this year, either from a player or maybe a certain game that really turned your head towards this squad?
I think our patience and our resilience, like being able to win all of the 5-set matches we've been in, we've won, and that's 3 of our 6 wins, so those are obviously pretty important for us. We know what it takes to be successful in those situations, and so I'm pretty excited about that we're able to push when we need to push.
Let's fast forward to February. You've made the playoffs. Who do you want to see first round of playoffs?
You know what? Anything can happen at that point, and so it could be a number of teams from the South in that first round, and the South is extremely strong. So honestly, it probably doesn't matter who we play in that first round. It's going to be a real tough match, and we look forward to that opportunity.
In our interview with Austin, I asked him who he thinks the better coach is, and he says, well, look at my record. What do you say to your brher?
I'd say to him, he's been here quite a bit longer than I have. This is only my third year, so we're trying to make something happen. And he went through the same type of growing pains when he first started and turned his program around. And he's done amazing things here. He can't take anything away from that. These guys have really worked so hard this year. It's been super impressive for me to see these guys in the weight room. And as far as I can tell, they've been working their butts off in the classroom and then in the gym every day, making sure that they're getting better. I can't stress enough to them how important that is, and I think they're finally starting to see that. Some of them in their second year, third year, and we have Kale in his fourth. So these guys are understanding what it takes to be successful at this level, and they're starting to buy into our program and what we're trying to do. So that's the big thing for us, and I hope that continues.
Great. Well, those are all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for the interview today.
Thanks for having me.